my channel. Here in this channel we talk about relaxed hair care, hair growth tips, protective styling, and so much more concerning the hair topic in general. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys protective styles for relaxed hair, but these protective styles can be used for all hair types in general, whether relaxed or natural. I think I've already made a similar video like this in the past where I talked about protective styles like box braids, twists, wigs, cornrows, crochet, and all that. So you can check out that video if you're interested. So this video is like a continuation or a part 2 of that video. So without further ado, let's just get started. So if you're an OG, you would know that I talk about protective styling in almost all my videos, and that is because protective styling has been key in my hair journey, and it has been key in length retention, and it's actually one of the major reasons why I am at my current length, and I am still using protective style to reach my goals because my goal is tailbone length. My last length check was hip length. So in order to reach that goal, I still employ protective styling. That's to tell you how important protective styles can be in our regimen, in our routines and all that. Now there's a difference between protective styling and low manipulation styles, and I've already made a video on this, so you can check out that video if you're interested. But basically the targets of protective styles are your ends. Your ends are the focus. From the name protective styles or protective styling, this simply means it's a style that protects your hair, and the best way to actually protect your hair is to protect your ends, because the ends are the weakest part of your hair, and if you can protect your ends, the rest part of your hair will not be an issue. So that's why the target of protective styles are usually the ends. So any style at all that does not protect your end is not the protective style, is a low manipulation style. So the first protective style I'm going to be talking about today is fox locks. You know, one of the major reasons why I love fox locks is that your whole hair is protected from the new growth to the ends, and no part of your hair is exposed to the environment at all. So if you moisturize your hair before you go in and install fox locks, there's a high probability that your hair is going to stay moisturized, because it's like your hair is locked in, the moisture is locked in, everything is just locked in, compared with a protective style like box braids or twists, where even though your hair is protected, there's still some form of exposure between your hair and the environment and all that. Because let's be honest, in box braids or twists, our hair is not totally covered, like there's still some parts that is exposed. I'm not saying fox locks is better than box braids. Both protective styles have their own pros and cons. So box braids may be better than fox locks in some aspects, and fox locks may be better than box braids in some aspects. So I love fox locks for that fact, the fact that it can cover your entire hair. Even though I have not installed this protective style myself, it's actually one of the protective styles I look forward to installing. But right now I am in a challenge, kind of like a challenge, and I have a target, I have a goal, like everything is planned out already, so I cannot install fox locks right now. But hopefully after my relaxer day and my relaxer routine, I am going to install fox locks. By the way, don't mind the way my hair looks, and as you guys can see, I am currently in a protective style. My hair is almost always in protective styles. That's to tell you how important protective style has been to me, and the fact that I don't joke with protective styles. Now another aspect of fox locks which I don't really like, maybe that's one of the reasons why I've not installed it up till now, is the weight. Fox locks can be heavy compared to other protective styles like braids, but fox locks can be light though. It depends on how you install them, on the weight of the attachment, how much extensions you add and all that. But I usually don't like thin looking fox locks. Like I love fox locks that are big, so meaning if I'm going to have to install them, they are going to be heavy. So fox locks can be big or light depending on what you want, depending on your preference. But the one I like is actually heavy. So that's one of the cons for fox locks. It can be a pro if you prefer the light one, so it can be both ways depending on your preference. Now another thing I love about fox locks is that it's like a double protective style, like protecting your protective style, if that makes sense, because before you go in and wrap your hair, like lock your hair. You are first going to braid your hair. Braiding your hair on its own is a form of protective style. Then after that, before you go in and lock it, so it's like a double method of protective style with two layers. So like I said, it's like protecting your protective style. So this is another thing I so much love about hot locks. Now moving on, the second protective style I'm going to be talking about is braiding your own hair. As you guys see, I am currently on braids, and this is just my hair. There is no extensions, and I've been on this protective style for 2 months now. My last protective style was also like this, just my hair, no extensions, and I carried that protective style for 4 months, and I actually posted a video where I took down that protective style on my channel, so you can check it out if you are interested. So like I said, these braids have been on for 2 months, so you don't have to buy extensions, attachments, sew-ins or anything before you protective style your hair. You can literally style your hair with just your hair. So you can actually have box braids without attaching extensions with just your hair. So one of the things I love about this form of protective style is the weight. It's very light, like there's no extensions, it's your hair, so there's no extra weight on your hair, there's no extra tension on your scalp compared to box braids, where the amount of extensions you add to your hair can actually be a factor if you get breakage or not. Because if you add so much attachments compared to the density of hair you are going to attach it to, this can actually cause breakage, because the extra tension and the excess weight can actually cause hair loss from traction alopecia. So it's one of the reasons why I love doing braids with just my hair. Although I don't leave it out like this. When I first installed these braids, I think for the first 2 weeks I was carrying them like this in a bun. So I would just pack them at the back, and that's how I've been carrying them. But over the time, as they got older, I started putting them under my wigs. So that's another thing I love about this protective style as well. Braiding with just your hair, you can carry it on its own, and you can carry it under wigs as well. So it gives you a lot of options to play with. Another reason why I love this protective style is that since you are not going to be adding any artificial thing to your hair, there will be no form of friction or like nothing to suck out moisture from your hair or that, because some of the extensions we add on our hair when doing box braids actually have the tendency of sucking moisture. So even if you moisturize your braids before you install the protective styles, the extensions can literally suck the moisture out of your hair. So that's another benefit of doing braids with just your hair. And like I said, one of the benefits is the less probability of friction. So there is nothing as natural as your relaxed or natural hair. So every other thing you add on your hair has a tendency of causing friction between your normal hair strands and the artificial extensions, which can actually lead to damage in the long run and eventually breakage. Now, one of the cons for this protective style is I feel it's limited in styling options. You know, when you add attachments and you install box braids, there are a lot of ways you can style the box braids because of its fullness or the high density. But with this, it's not every style you will be able to do with this, because this is less dense compared to when you actually add extensions. But it all boils down to preference again. So people may prefer the style this gives over box braids, so it can actually be a con and a pro depending on your preference. So the next protective style I'm going to be talking about today is mini twists or braids, because I know a lot of you are coming for me right now saying, so what if I don't have long hair? Does it mean that I will always have to use extensions? No, even if your hair is not as long as this, you can still braid or twist with your natural or relaxed hair. So what you have to install is what is called mini braids or twists. So you see that you must not have a long hair, waist length hair, hip length hair before you install whatever protective style you want to install without extensions. So it's not compulsory you use extensions. Even though you have short hair, you can still braid or twist your hair. Now the pros and cons I mentioned for my second protective style also pertains to mini braids or twists, so there is no need repeating them all over again. But I just want to make sure this, that if you have mini braids or this is even a lighter, like more lightweight compared to when you have long braids like this. So there is a lot of aeration to your scalp, which I actually love. You know, there are some protective styles I install and I'm so much in love with them just for the fact that they expose my scalp to the environment, you know, for the scalp to be cool by the breeze and all that, especially when you live in a hot country like mine. So sometimes it's good. And one of the protective styles that gives me that feel is cornrows. So it's actually one of the things I love whenever I want to install cornrows. So moving on, the next protective style I'm going to be talking about today is knotless box braids. This has its own pros and cons when compared to the regular box braid. First of all, this type of box braid is lighter than the regular box braids because you are not starting the extensions at the roots. So the amount of extensions you are going to add is actually lesser compared to when you actually start adding the extensions at the root. So it's actually going to be lighter compared to your regular box braids, which means that number two, there is also going to be less traction on your scalp because, like I said, the more attachment you add, the more dense, the more heavy it's going to be, and the more likely that you are going to have traction alopecia from the excess weight. So in knotless box braids, where the extensions are not added from the roots but later on, and therefore less amount of extensions added, it means there is less chance of you having traction alopecia because it's usually more light compared to your regular box braids. Now, the second way that knotless box braids can actually prevent traction alopecia is there is less tension on the scalp during the braiding process because the extensions are not usually added when you start but later on, meaning when you start you're just going to be using your normal hair, nothing added, so there's going to be less tension compared to when you start everything with the extensions. So I think other pros and cons of it are the same for regular box braids as well, which I talked about in the first part of this video. I don't really know if I'll be able to find the video, but if I can, I'll make sure to link it down below so that you guys can check it out. It's a very old video and I don't even know what to say about it. So if you're going to watch it, just watch it for the knowledge sake and just ignore any other thing you see there, okay? Because I actually made the video early last year, so it's over a year old. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here and you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing to join the family, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So yeah guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.